This great season of Christmas and Christmas time, the Christmas season, short as it is in our church year this year, we actually lose 2 Sundays. We've lost Holy Family Sunday, and we lost the Sunday that usually is between, there's usually another Sunday between, would be this feast and the Epiphany, but we've got them all in a, we had a long Advent, shorter Christmas this year, Christmas season, church-wise. This season is such a beautiful one for the many different images and pictures that it gives us about Christ and about his parents and about his birth and about the events that took place surrounding that time. It's a time, and we all have Christmas cribs at home, I'm assuming, little stables and whatever. It should give us a good time to pause and reflect on what it means. We have all those images that, I know they stop all the music as soon as Christmas happens, but we still have the stuff of Christmas. Trees and lights and other things that ought to be reminding us of this great feast of Christmas that we've just celebrated. It's really a feast of great faith. First of all, just the faith that Jesus is both Son of God and Son of Man, that theologically he is totally divine and totally human in all things but sin, and how that's all put together is a puzzle that we'll live with until we go home. When you go home to God at the end of your life, you can ask him to explain it all to you. But I honestly think you won't need it by that time. To think of the events that took place. From 9 months ago, with the angel coming to Mary and saying, "You're going to be the mother of the Messiah," to her sweet and loving surrender to the message of that angel. I will do it. I will do what you want me to do. I will live as you want me to live, not as I want, but what you want. That's what I want to be my life too. To all the stories about the birth, oh my goodness, the fleeing to Egypt. There's so many things going on in their lives. You wonder how they packed it all in such a short period of time. There was always in them that kind of sweet surrender to God and to what God was unfolding in their lives. Can you think of them? Can you think of Mary and Joseph and in your reflections, and think about them being in Bethlehem, being as they were in a place because there was no room for them, how symbolic that was. But can you think about the two of them then? They are the only two who know what's going on. They're the only two who know what's going on. Nobody else knows what's unfolding around them. Little hints here and there, other people recognizing things as these days go on. But you know what? The others didn't know. And then it begins to happen. The news is out. The good news is out. Angels tell shepherds about it. A star appears in the heavens, and 3 come from the east. About the poorest you can get, and probably among the wealthiest at the time. And you get both groups coming. And you wonder how many countless others heard those shepherds tell this story. Well, it even says everybody they told was amazed at what was going on. Can't you just imagine all these people coming and knocking on the door of the stable and going, "We want to see, we want to see, we want to see him. Where is he? Where's this one who's coming. And they meet him, the infant. They meet Joseph. They meet Mary. What a gift. What a gift. Many more things would come into their lives as the years went on. Joseph disappears in the story. We don't have any information about him after, besides their finding him in the temple, so we know he was still around when Jesus was about 12 years old. But after that, we don't know. Mary was still present with the Christian community at Pentecost, the giving of the Holy Spirit. And tradition tells us that John the Apostle followed the words of Jesus on the cross and kept her dear and close to his heart for the rest of his life. Christian tradition says that they actually went to Ephesus. And it's in Ephesus that she spent the rest of her life until she was assumed into heaven. It's remarkable. Think of the things she saw in his passion. What mother sitting in this room could have gone through that? Wow, what she saw. But even more important, though, than what she saw was what she carried in her soul. And that is the most profound faith ever to encompass a human body. What a gift. What an inspiration to us she is. How did she do this? Oh, well, it probably started very early in her own upbringing, in her own life, but we know it definitely took hold at the Annunciation when Gabriel told her what was going to happen. And she said yes. It was the first of probably 1,000 yeses she said in her life to God. 1,000 yeses to God. What a gift she is to us. What an inspiration she can be to us. The gospel today has a little line in it, Luke's gospel, and it's so beautiful because I think it's how she fed the grace that God had given to her. I think it's how she nurtured that. Grace is supernatural, but even though she is full of grace, she still had to say that yes to God. And 1,000 more of them later on as the events of the life unfolded. And she always faithfully said that yes to God. I think the way she nurtured that faith made that faith grow even deeper and it became even more profoundly important in her life as she approached the end of his life, Jesus' life. Luke tells us Mary kept all these things, reflecting on them in her heart. She prayed. She held all these words of God to her, all these events that were unfolding around her and would unfold in the years ahead, all these divine movements that had taken place within her life. She kept them all, kept them, held on to them, embraced them, put her arms around them, held them close, and reflected on them. That's more than just thinking about them. There's something more to it than just looking at it or seeing it or thinking about it. She took it deep within her being, within her own soul. And it was the source of her life, her closeness, her faith, which just kept growing and growing and growing. I can't imagine it ever ceasing to grow in that woman. The power of her faith. What a gift to us, and what an inspiration. We celebrate this feast of Mary, the Mother of God, her oldest and first title, from which all other titles come. We close the Christmas season or the octave of Christmas, not the season yet, but the octave, the 8-day celebration of this great feast of ours, Christmas, with this feast in honor of her, who was his finest, best, and most perfect disciple. Like her, imitating her, one of his greatest gifts to us. It's our call today, our task today, to do what she did so well. Keep all these things, reflecting on them in her heart. It so nurtured her, and it will do the same for us.